everyone, welcome back to my next video. Today we're going to meet Larry and take a tour of his BMW X5. And we just shot an interview, and so go watch that and you'll know all about Larry's life and how he's ended up in the desert living in a BMW X5 SUV. So Larry,
Yes.
thanks again for visiting with us.
Thank you.
And you have a YouTube channel. Tell us your YouTube channel.
My YouTube channel is Eminence X5, and I do adventure videos out in the middle of nowhere, and that includes mines, ghost towns, anything kind of abandoned in the middle of nowhere.
Very good.
Yeah.
So why don't we take a look at your BMW and see how you live in it? You've been at 3 years now.
Coming up in January will be 3 years. Yeah, I started this when I turned 50, and from that point on, it's been my home. It's a 2001 Generation 1 BMW X5. It's a 5-speed manual, 6-cylinder, inline 6, and again, all-wheel drive. It's perfect for my needs. It gets about 21 miles a gallon, and I love the thing. It's awesome. But not much going on in the front. I keep my tools down in the front footwell of the passenger seat.
So just storage, like everyone else?
Yeah, storage, but mainly the tools that I work on in the car. So if anything happens to the car, these are the tools I would break out to fix anything that goes wrong. Everything else is pretty much stock in the front. Now, if we move to the back here, this is how I travel. When I'm traveling around, I tend to keep everything out of the front seat and more in the back. So in the back, you can see where I have my bag set, my pillows, usually my headrests either here or on the other side. To be able to actually make ice in the middle of nowhere is kind of unique. So I have that capability with this fridge. I also have a solar setup in there that can be deployed. And I also have, if you look in the back, I have a clam back or a retractable tailgate along with the top piece that opens up the hatch itself. But this is a great cooking service. And here's my solar panels. These get pulled out. They're secured in there right now.
So what have you got, a couple hundred watts?
It's 200 watts, 15 amps.
Mm-hmm.
And I got 8 gallons of water here. And this is pretty much my limitation on being out and about in the middle of nowhere. I can double this up to about 14 days out in the middle of nowhere without coming back into town.
Wow.
Yeah. So the solar setup powers 2 batteries. They're 2 155 amp solar batteries, or AGM batteries. They sit in the passenger seat footwells behind the passenger seat and the driver's seat in the car.
Right.
So basically I have no back seat. And that's why it's converted more into like a station wagon kind of setup where I sleep on one side and I store on the other.
Mm-hmm.
But this is how I travel around usually. It buttons up pretty good. And if you didn't know it, you wouldn't know someone was living out of it.
No, you just look like somebody who's on a road trip.
Exactly.
Right. If they saw in, looked in, they just think someone's driving from here to there or going camping.
Yes. Now, before it wasn't always like this. I took on more of a minimalist kind of approach to things to really reduce the things that I use. So I have just minimal amounts of plates, silverware, just minimal amount of water. Everything was just really pared down. Even my clothing. I don't carry half as much clothing as I started out with. But that's all in the hopes that I can save some space and be more organized inside the car, because the more stuff you have, the more crazy it gets inside these little places. So
right.
I really kind of took that on, and even today, I recently had to get rid of clothes to bring in new clothes. So I'm getting kind of strict with it, I guess.
So this is travel mode.
Travel mode,
and
exactly.
if once you get somewhere, you'll set up camp.
Yes.
It'll empty out, and you sleep inside the SUV.
Yes, I do.
And so during travel mode, if probably doesn't happen very often, but if you have to stop and sleep while you're traveling, how would you do that?
Well, I've actually done this recently where I had to move everything within the car to one side and camp within it without going outside of the car. I actually was boondocking in a parking lot that I really wasn't supposed to be in. It was a city hall, but I'm not going to say which one. But I was able to pull in, move everything to one side, draw my curtains. I have actually blackout curtains in the car. They roll down from the top here on each side and in the front. So when those are down and the sunroof is closed, I can have full light and you wouldn't know someone was in it. But I actually can maneuver everything over to one side. There's just enough room to do it. It's like playing Tetris, though. It's not easy.
So everything goes to the front seats and to the side.
Exactly.
you're in.
Yes. Most of my bags go to the front seat. The soft bags go to the front seats. These hard cases stack on top of each other on this side and on top of the fridge.
Right.
Very simple.
Right.
But you have to think about it.
Yeah, right. Like you said, it's kind of a game of Tetris.
Yeah, but once you've done it a couple times, it becomes routine. And I only camp in spots like that once in a blue moon. So I tend to like to pull up to a spot like this, take my water out, my solar panels out, set that up for the morning to capture the morning sun. And yeah, just kind of relax that way. It's a lot better way of living.
Okay, so what we've got here is your setup for travel mode.
Yes.
And now you're going to set it up in camp mode.
Camp
and
mode.
we'll show you the camp mode here in just a minute.
And there we go. This is the camping mode where everything's kind of rearranged and pulled out of the car. We got the Zamp solar panels, 200 watt, 15 amps, solar controller on the back of that. It runs into the car. Everything's rearranged off to the driver's side. I sleep on this side. And got my little trash can here, my propane. On top is the oven, or the stovetop. I pull that down and I cook right here on this tailgate. My cookware is right here. Pretty modular. Everything you need to cook.
Basically, you're just kitchen.
Yeah, it's my kitchen. This is a mug. This is not a... Yeah, I got this. Believe it or not, this is an actual mug.
How about that?
Yeah. So no, I don't keep my camera equipment with the utensils. But yeah, everything's modular. My food, dry food's in here. Cold food's in the fridge. But it's pretty basic setup. It's not complex.
No.
Keeping it simple.
Just going camping.
Yeah, exactly. But full time. I like it this way. It's an easier way of living, less things to get lost. Although I lose a lot of things in this vehicle.
Somehow that happens.
There's no explanation. I've lost my wallet in here. And just recently I lost a little monitor for one of my cameras. Looked for hours. And it finally turned up, I think yesterday. Finally popped up. But yeah, I've lost all kinds of things in here. But there's nowhere to hide stuff. So I don't get it.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine.
Yeah. This is my quick setup. For me to get out of camp would take me about 5 minutes. Load everything up and I'm out of here.
So basically just chair, solar, water,
trash, and that's about it. Yeah. Got my shovel up front for the bathroom situation, and it just looked pretty light and simple. But yeah, this is it.
Yeah, a lot of people are concerned about digging cat holes, but it's perfectly legal on all public land, unless you're close to water, and you probably aren't close to a lot of water in Death Valley. No. So yeah, cat holes work well, just as long as you're diligent and careful. They work well.
You got to be responsible and do the right thing when no one's watching, even. So yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when no one's watching.
Right. So it makes a wonderful home.
It's a perfect home for me. Probably not cut out for everyone, but I took the dip and I'm not going back.
Right. Yeah. Right. So no regrets, no going back.
No going back. No, I love this life. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I should have done this, like I said, a long time ago.
And so the major benefit you would say would be peace of mind and your health?
Yeah, my health has definitely taken a swing for the better. Peace of mind, yeah. Getting over the being by yourself a lot took some time, but I like myself better now.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people coming from, especially from the corporate world like you did, once they're free of the clock, that's very hard. That not being productive, not getting something done, not living by the clock. Was that a problem for you?
Yeah, at the beginning of this trip, I always felt like I needed to be busy and doing something.
Right.
And I didn't take that time to think about, I just need to slow down a little bit and see what's around me. Where I started camping down near Baker, California, where I picked to camp, it's kind of ironic because there's so many things around that campsite that had I just taken time to go on a walk, I would have discovered. But it took me almost a good year and a half before I actually discovered those things around that campsite by going back there so much. Anyway, it's a wonderful world. It's worth exploring. And the corporate life, it wasn't for me, and I couldn't go back if I wanted to. It's something I would dread.
So, what are the cons? I mean, yeah, there's, I know it's wonderful, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But are there ever times when you get, I'm tired of this, I'm going back?
Not yet. There have been some huge challenges with me on this trip, and so far every one of them I've been able to deal with. There have been some close periods where I didn't think I would make it through, but through the help of the friends that I have, really pulled me through those bad times, and it gave me more hope for humanity, I guess, that people were willing to help out like they did. Yeah, I had a whole engine let go in this car. I had to replace the engine on the road, and I had a lot of people help out with that. I felt really warm and fuzzy inside. I still do, thinking back about a year ago when my engine let go, and all the people that helped out, and even the comments on my channel were very helpful and supportive. Even other channels coming in to say, you know, keep going. I've never felt like that in the corporate world. You know, I'm out on my own now in the middle of nowhere, putting up videos for people I don't even know, and they're making me feel more warm and fuzzy inside than I ever have in the corporate world. So, yeah, it's a different way of life. I was drinking too much of the corporate Kool-Aid, and I stayed in it probably too long.
So you say, and this is something I've heard over and over again from people for as long as I've been doing this. People worry they'll come out here and they'll be lonely, and they'll be hermits, and they won't have friends, and that hasn't been your experience at all.
No, I have a better set of friends now, and a larger set of friends than I've ever had coming out and doing what I'm doing. That includes people like Sarah Jane, and my friend Jenny Gives has another YouTube channel. There's just a ton of people in my life that weren't there before, and these are good quality people, and I didn't have that before. I had some problems with the people that I thought were friends in the corporate world. So there's been a big change. I don't know if that answers your question or not.
No, I think that covers it really, really well.
Okay.
Yeah.
The things in the desert that used to scare me they're not so scary anymore. I think what scares me now is something like YouTube disappearing, but if it disappeared, I'd find another platform to bounce off of. But it's no longer, where I'm, is it going to be okay for me in the desert? It's going to be, now it's, do I really have enough gas to make it to the next destination I need to make that video at? That's my fear now. It's not living in the desert or dying in the desert or bad things happening in the desert. It's about exploring it now. And do I have enough time to see all the things I want to see? So, I don't know. Life changed for me.
Okay, folks, I hope you got something out of this video, and I know you did. If you did, like us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll talk to you later.